I've broken down over 337 funnels from some of the top coaches and gurus out there while working with multiple 5 and 6 figure entrepreneurs to help them scale their coaching businesses to multiple 6 figures per month. And today I'm going to be breaking down the exact formula I use to make any entire landing page, going over the invisible leak, why you should actually care, the squeeze effect, so the entire squeeze page, how to actually structure your lead magnet, how to actually, ask what to ask on the opt-in, the awareness bridge, how to actually script your VSL, how long to keep the VSL, how to make your VSL or the exact formula to make the VSL, the pre-frame stack, so the entire confirmation page, how you want to go about the social proof, how you want to go about the reminders, how you want to go about literally the entire structure of the actual final page, the video, all that. And then finally, the 3-page flow, how to actually put all this together and tweak it so you can actually be improving every single month over a month. And then finally, the next step, what exactly you need to do after this video to implement all the teachings within it. So without any further ado, let's just get straight into it. So we're going to start off with the invisible leak. Now, 97% of people who want to buy from you never will, not because they changed their mind, but because they never made it to the actual finish line. There's a study actually that tracked the journey from first touch to sale across hundreds of funnels. The average drop off between someone being interested in actually buying was at 97% of traffic dropping off between the first touch and sale. B2B visitor to lead, 97 to 99%. It's even greater, right? So here's what makes it worse for you specifically. If you have an organic audience, people found you through content and not ads. Your traffic is actually worth 5 to 8 times more than paid traffic. So the paid traffic conversion rate on average is 2 to 7%. So cold strangers who saw an ad. And the organic traffic conversion is 10 to 16%, which is a warm audience that chose you. This is your traffic. You have the highest quality traffic you have right now. So 94% of Google clicks actually also go to organic results, by the way. Only 6% of those clicks go to paid results. So your audience already trusts you. They sought you out. They chose to follow you, but you're losing that premium traffic to a broken system. So let's see where they actually go from here. So the typical journey of someone who wants to buy from you is, you get 10,000 content views on average, maybe 200 of them click your link. That's 2%. That means 9,800 are gone just because you have no clear path from your actual Instagram. Then 40 of them opt in, which is about 20% of the clickers. 160 are gone because of a bad landing page. And every leak here, by the way, has a name and a fix. So 12 of them maybe, book a call, that's 30%. And that means 28% are gone just because of no pre-framing. And then finally, 10 of them show up, which means 15% of them no show. That's 2 no show because there's no reminder system. And personally for us, we have a 98% show rate, which is pretty crazy. And I'm pretty proud of that. But 3 of them, let's say, buy, and that's a 30% close rate because you don't have a really good closer, right? I mean, that's a pretty average closer, but if you have a good closer, it can be way higher. Now, 10,000 views and 3 sales. That is a 0.03% conversion on your best traffic. Not because people who don't want what you're selling, not because there's a system, but because there's no system catching them as they fall. So what if you could plug even half those leaks? Let's run the math, same 10,000 views, but we fix the obvious holes. Clear CTA and content, 4% of them click, 400 people instead of 200. Better landing page, 30% of them opt in instead of, just 40, so it's 120 people. The VSL, let's say, pre-frames the call, so 40% of them book this time so it becomes 48 instead of 12. And then, add in a basic reminder system, that becomes a 90% show rate. That means 43 of them actually show up instead of 10. Same close rate at 30%, let's say, that's 13 sales. That means 10,000 views, 13 sales, same audience, 4 times the actual revenue. Pretty crazy, right? But it's the same exact work, just 4 times the result on some basic fixes. The system is your leverage. So your audience is already there. The attention is already earned. You have DMs coming in. The hard part is done. What you need is not more content. It is a system that catches people who want to buy and guides them to the finish line. So let me just show you exactly what that system looks like here. Now, let's get into it. Let's just start off with where most people actually mess up first, which is the squeeze page or this landing page or the opt-in page, whatever you really want to call it. So most coaches think the goal here is to collect as many emails as physically possible. It is not. The goal is filtering, not collecting. Sounds backwards, right? Why would you want less people? Well, because unqualified leads will waste your time. They book calls and they don't show up. They show up and can't afford you, or they just can afford you but aren't serious. They don't care. Now, what most people optimize for is more emails, higher opt-in rate, big list, blah, blah, blah. Just a few metrics that make them feel good and don't actually result in any money at the end of the month. What actually matters is better emails, higher qualified opt-in rate, small list of buyers. Now, obviously, this is an example of an email list. Your followers also count as a list. So that's why I'm going to reference your followers as a quote list. Now, this is where most people, again, completely get it wrong. High ticket funnel with some proper filtering is about 150 applications, 30% close rate at 40 gets you like 45 clients, let's say. The same funnel with a big unqualified list, again, that means your viewers or your subscribers, whatever, 15,000, 2% of them convert. That's 300 buyers at 1/20th the price. You do not need a massive list. You need a qualified list of people that actually matter, right? All right. So how do you actually filter on an opt-in page? First, the headline will call out exactly who this is for. The subheadline then addresses the specific problem that they have. What they're getting is clear and specific, not just vague promises, and the ask matches the value. Now, the last one is very important because if you're asking for name, email, and phone number, you better be giving something that is kind of worth that. Now, the data on this is actually kind of wild. So landing pages with 5 or fewer fields convert 120% better than longer ones. Each additional field beyond 5 costs you about 20 to 30% of submissions. So, if you're asking about, name, email, phone, company, blood type, all that jazz, you're killing your own funnel. What you ask for also equals the perceived value of what you're giving. If you're asking for an email, people assume that it is not that valuable. Asking for an email and phone, then it's going to be probably pretty good. Asking them to fill out an application, at that point, they expect something very serious on the other side. This is the psychology with type forms as well. That's why you want to have a type form to qualified leads and also make them, expect a very serious payoff on the other side so they're more excited for the call as well. But here's where the real magic happens. So your lead magnet should not just capture leads, it should create demand for your actual offer. Now, lead magnet, a lot of people want to try quiz funnels. A lot of people want to try all this other stuff. I'd recommend just use your VSL as a lead magnet. Run a free training funnel, kind of like what Brez does. It's the most basic funnel you can run. And most of you guys, or you probably at home, can probably do this into your own business. And once you scale to 5, 10K a month, and you want to go ahead and implement something that's way better than that, optimize your free training funnel, all that jazz, go ahead and I actually will leave a link down below in the description for anybody who has an existing audience. If you're a coach, consultant, or an agency owner, I help those exact people. I help people exactly like you build out these funnels, monetize their actual audience with an info offer, or help you scale with an info offer for consulting, whatever, blah, 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 all that jazz. So you can go and check that out right down below. DM me on Instagram. We can go ahead and talk. We'll see if you're qualified. If you are qualified to work with us, and me and my team will go ahead and book you on a call, and it'll be either me or one of my team members that'll hop on that call with you, and we'll see if we want to move forward from there. Now, lead magnet. Well, this is the kind of flow you want to go for. So the lead magnet should solve a narrow problem. Like, for example, let's say, just give the example of, maybe you're in trading and the lead magnet, let's say, solves 15 trading strategy playbook. So it's the 15 strategies where when X happens, when the chart looks something like this, you want to do this specific thing in these 15 situations. Now, solving that problem reveals a bigger problem. You're like, I want to be able to actually, understand these different metric or these different chart patterns and everything like that myself. I don't want to have just 15 or 20 playbooks. I don't want to have to look at this every single time. Bigger problem equals what your main offer solves. Now, for that 15, lead magnet, right? That is not going to be something you can charge $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 for. But the bigger problem, which now they've kind of found out, right, is what your main offer actually solves. Now, at this point, they want to buy. Again, lead magnet, the reason I say VSL as a lead magnet is because it's literally the ultimate lead magnet. Because the VSL, I will get into the VSL and everything in a second, but let me just go ahead and give you this little bit of information. The VSL's main goal is to make the problem as big and as exacerbated as physically possible. So now at this point, they want to buy. This is the whole game. You want to give them something that solves one specific thing, and in solving it, they realize they need more help. Now, again, I just want to give you another example. Quiz lead magnets actually get up to 60% more conversions on average versus regular lead magnets. Why? Because a quiz reveals actual problems in your funnel or in your whatever it might be, right? Maybe you're doing trading, whatever. It reveals the problems within that specific part. It doesn't just deliver information. The person finishes the quiz thinking, oh, damn, I need help with this. That's the setup for your offer. So that's why whenever we make a free training funnel, you always want to add the type form. You always want to add the VSL. All these things, they culminate into one giant amount of pain building within the prospect's heart, which is the main point. You want to exacerbate the problem as much as physically possible. Now, one more thing on opt-ins, a really important thing as well. So there's actually research showing that changing the word you to my on button copy increased the clicks by 90%. So, start your free trial versus start my free trial. That is one word and 90% more clicks. So obviously I'm not going to go into detail on this crazy graph, but basically all you need to know is that when somebody goes ahead and when you say my free trial or my XYZ thing on your button page, the thing that happens is that people more easily, their brain more easily processes that information and digests it. And number two, their brain keeps thinking about it for a much longer time and keeps digesting that information for a much longer time. So they understand the implications of your CTA and what exactly they need to do next better. So now they're thinking more about you and it's easier for them to think more about you. Very, very, very good combination to increase the conversion rates. It's quite crazy. It's insane, but 90% more clicks over just the word my and you. You can go ahead and Google this as well if you would like. But number 3 is the awareness bridge. Someone opted in. Now what? This is where your VSL page lives, or the video sales letter, or whatever you really want to call the page where you actually explain your offer. Most coaches either don't have one and just send people straight to a calendar, have one that's way too long and loses everybody, and have one that's way too short and does not build enough trust. All of those are going to mess it all up, right? Sending someone straight from opt-in to calendar booking is one of the most expensive mistakes you can possibly make, because they opted in because they were curious. They don't know you yet. They don't trust you yet. They don't understand your offer yet at all. And you're asking them to commit, 30 to 60 minutes of their time. The drop-off rate on that is going to be brutal. Obviously, on your organic content, you might have gotten them to trust you kind of, but they still don't understand what the hell the offer is. Why would they still commit that 30 to 60 minutes of their time just to understand what your offer is? You would be wasting a huge amount of your reputation with that person just to get them on a call that you're going to go ahead and disqualify them from. It doesn't make any sense. So the VSL page actually bridges that gap. Now, most important part here is just match the message to the moment. What do I mean by that? They just gave you their email. They're interested but skeptical, and they want to know, who is this person? Do they actually know what they're talking about? Is this offer legit or another guru thing? What would working together actually look like? Is this worth my time? Your VSL answers all of that before they see your calendar. So this is what the awareness bridge kind of looks like. First of all, they're curious. They just opted in. VSL builds trust and clarity, and then they're ready. This is why the VSL is here. It's like a bridge between them being ready and them being curious. Without the VSL, you go from curious to the calendar, and then they just straight up bounce. With a VSL, they're curious, and then they become educated on the actual subject, and then they feel ready, because again, people just want information in their brain to justify emotionally to themselves, because people make an emotional decision first. So they'll emotionally justify why they're on your page and why they want to buy from you through your content. After that, they need to logically justify that emotional justification. So you need to give them a reason to do that, and the VSL is the best way to do so. Social proof as well. And once they're ready, they go to the calendar, and then of course they go ahead and book in an actual call. Now on video specifically, people actually retain information 400% better from video than they do on text. So pages with video get viewers spending 100% more time on the page as well. So that means they're spending double the time on the page. Embedding video increases the landing page conversion by up to 86%. Obviously, I'm not promising you put in a video on your crappy landing page and then instantly you'll get double or triple your conversion rate, but it's going to definitely increase no matter what, as long as you have an actually good video. So the video really is not optional. It's the difference between someone skipping and someone actually understanding what the hell you do. Now, how long should this thing actually be? It depends again on who you're selling to and what you're selling. The short VSL is only when you want to have, it's going to be like 5 to 10 minutes, and it's only when you have, lower ticket offer like $500 to $1,000. More people will watch all of it. There's less pre-framing. There's more calls at a lower close rate. And again, it's good for lower ticket, which means 500 to 1,000. And then there's the other extreme, which is a long VSL, 30 to 40 minutes. There's fewer people finish, heavy pre-framing, fewer calls, higher close rate, good for high ticket. Now, high ticket, I mean by like 5 to 10,000 plus, right? Now, a short VSL, I would only recommend this. Again, this is kind of like a spectrum of how long you want to have your VSL. So if you have, let's say, a $3,000 offer, I would recommend you have like a 20-minute VSL just about. If you have like a $1,000 to $2,000 offer, I'd recommend 10 to 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes if you really want to push it. And then when you have something that's like 4,000, 5,000 plus, at that point you start getting into the long VSL territory, which is 30 to 40 minutes, right? So there's data showing that actually a 9-minute VSL also, this is an interesting part. There's data showing that a 9-minute VSL got 25% conversions, while a 30 to 40-minute VSL got 75% conversions on the same offer. But fewer people watched the long one all the way through. So again, it's a trade-off. So more calls with people who need more convincing, or fewer calls with people who are already sold. For high ticket, I lean a little bit towards longer, because you want people showing up to calls ready to buy, not ready to be convinced. Now, of course, that's up to you. So again, that's why I usually go ahead and recommend you always go for just a bit of a longer VSL. Like 30 to 40 minutes is a bit too long, I'd say, for most offers, because nobody here is really selling an offer for 5 to 10K. If you are, then of course you'll need somebody who actually knows what they're doing to sell that, because there's no way you're selling that alone. So if you sell something that's like, 2, 3K, go for like something 20-minute long VSL. It's pretty, it'll work pretty well for that specific situation. Now, the structure that works. So first you want to call out who this is for. So the first 30 seconds is going to be that. Introduce the problem that they have, agitate the problem, make them feel it, and introduce your solution after that. Explain what working together looks like, and then give social proof, results, and testimonials. Finally, give them a clear CTA. So it's no tricks, no manipulation. You just want to give them a little bit of clarity. By the way, this VSL structure is actually exactly what I help clients build. So if you're sitting here thinking, I should probably have one of these, or mine could definitely be better. Maybe you don't even have an info product. You have an existing audience. There's a link in the description. I'll leave it down below. But of course, not for everyone. It's only for coaches and consultants with existing audiences who are serious about fixing their funnel. Anyways, let's get into the next part. The next part is actually where most people start, falling off, and most people actually mess up, which is the confirmation page. Like, this is the most neglected page in every funnel I audit, and it's costing people thousands of dollars every month. So someone just booked a call with you. What do you show them? Typical confirmation page is, thanks for booking. See you on date. Maybe a calendar invite. That's about it. Congratulations. You have just wasted the highest intent moment in your entire funnel. Good job. So think about it. They literally just committed to getting on a call with you. They're excited, they're engaged, they're paying attention, and you show them nothing? That makes absolutely no sense. The confirmation page is not a dead end. It is a launch pad for the rest of your funnel, for the rest of your calls, for the rest of your reminders, everything. So here's what happens between booking and the actual call. And this is actually real stuff, right? So pay attention. When you book a call, the person is high intent and excited. Just think back to a time where you booked a call somewhere. You're high intent, you're excited, even if you don't show it as being excited. Hours or days pass, the doubt creeps in and life gets busy. You start thinking about other things. You don't care about this as much. And that emotional high you were riding when you booked that call is kind of wearing off as time goes on. And a lot of you guys have weeks between calls, which God save you. Please don't. Like, maximum 3 days between the booking of the call and the actual call, or else you're going to literally drop off 50% of the people. It's crazy. But again, this doubt can creep in by them, researching more. And if you don't have a email sequence, if you don't have someone on your corner that knows how to make an email sequence, if you haven't even made one, which most of you guys haven't, then of course, way more people are going to start Googling stuff about what you do. They're going to get misinformation. And then from that, they're going to be more and more doubtful on the call. So again, that's the importance of email sequences. I'll probably make another video on that. But again, when they get to the call time, it'll be lower intent and they might actually skip. So the typical no-show rates for the industry are about 15 to 20%. That is 1 in 5 calls absolutely gone, which is pretty crazy. People who are interested enough to actually book never actually showing up. So here's the math on no-shows. Let's say you book 20 calls a month, and at 30% close rate and at a $5,000 offer. That's $6,000 to $8,000 in lost revenue every single month. So reducing no-shows from 20 to 5% on the same volume, potentially like $4,500 more per month from fixing one page. And personally, for most of our offers, our average is around 98 to 95% from fixing one page, by the way. So what actually goes on a good confirmation page? Number one is a video from you, 30 to 60 seconds, just welcoming them and building a ton of excitement. What to expect on the call that removes uncertainty, how to prepare, and then that makes them more invested. And finally, social proof builds trust and respect, and FAQs answers any common questions so you don't waste any time on the actual call. Now, this pre-frame stack also does something else as well. So it qualifies people out before the call. So if someone reads, here's how to prepare and here's what we'll cover, and decides, no, I am actually not that serious, good, you just saved about 30 minutes. The confirmation page should not just reduce no-shows, it should reduce bad fit calls as well. And that's what most no-shows kind of are. Right. Finally, let's put this together. You got 3 pages. Each one has a specific job. Page 1, opt-in. Page 2, VSL. Page 3, confirmation. Obviously, the job of the opt-in, filter and capture leads. Submission rate is the metric, and key is lead magnet solving a narrow problem. For VSL, it's just building trust and explaining offer. Metric is watch time and CTA clicks, and key is matching message to the awareness level. Finally, confirmation is reducing no-shows, pre-framing the call. Metric is show rate, and keeping them engaged until the call happens is the key. And again, you can do this through email sequences. You can do this through nurture sequences. You can do this through the hammer them strategy, if you've ever heard of Jeremy Haynes' really good strategy. And finally, of course, you can do that through setter DMs, sending them pre-call assets, all that. I will be making a video that goes over all the pre-call assets, all that jazz in detail. But for now, that's all you need to really know. You need to add those specific things. And I'll probably have posted it by the time you're watching this video, so you can just check out the rest of my channel and you'll be able to find it probably. Now, each page leads to the next. None of them stand alone. This is the part that most people miss. They optimize each page in isolation. And a great opt-in page, but it attracts the wrong people for the VSL. A great VSL, but it doesn't prepare them for what the call will actually be. Or a great confirmation page, but the people arriving are already wrong fits. The flow matters far more than any individual page. A mediocre opt-in to a strong VSL to a strong confirmation will outperform an amazing opt-in to a weak VSL to a weak confirmation. And again, you can think about this from the bottleneck perspective as well. So if you have a crappy VSL, your confirmation page can't even live up to its actual potential because you're getting such bad traffic from the VSL. And if you have a weak opt-in, the rest of your funnel is absolutely going to be horrendous, right? Because the system compounds. Each page sets up the next page. Like, that's how this funnel works. So how most people build funnels is, they copy someone else's opt-in page, grab a VSL template, skip confirmation page entirely, and then wonder why their conversions suck. No shit, your conversions suck because you have half of your funnel missing and the other half that you have is kind of bootstrapped on. Now, how it should work is designing the opt-in for your audience, writing a VSL that matches your offer, building a confirmation that pre-frames your call, and understanding why each piece works together. But there's something more important than any of this. A good funnel serves your audience. So this is kind of the part that trips up a lot of you guys who are kind of worried about being salesy. So a lot of the creators, coaches, agency owners, whatever. A well-designed funnel is not manipulation. It's more so clarity. The opt-in page helps the right people find you. The VSL helps them understand if you're the right fit. The confirmation page helps them show up prepared. At every step, you're literally making their decision easier, not harder. The alternative to having a funnel is people interested in working with you can't really figure out how. They have questions, but they have no way of getting answers before committing the time. And they book a call, they show up confused about what the hell it's even for. A bad experience for them and a waste of time for you completely. So a good funnel is, again, a good experience that you're giving to your prospects at the same time. You're helping them. Now, where does this leave you? You've really got 3 options at this point. Option 1, you DIY it, take everything in this breakdown, build it yourself, test it yourself, iterate for about 6 to 12 months until it works. Maybe you get to 50K a month, 30K a month. You hit that bottleneck and then maybe take another 12 months to get past that. It's totally valid if you do have the time, which, you might. Option 2, you hire someone cheap, get a template funnel from like Fiverr, hope it works for your specific situation. Probably rebuild it in like 6 months anyways because it works like crap and destroys your trust with your audience. Or option 3, you work with someone who does this. I build funnels for coaches and consultants with existing audiences. Not templates, not copy-paste jobs, custom funnels designed for your specific offer, your specific audience, your specific situation, and we have an entire team backing us right now. I look at where the leaks are, fix them, you make more money from the same audience. Very, very simple. So if you're interested in that, there's a link in the description. Fair warning, I do only work with people who have existing audiences. If you're still building an audience, this is not for you yet. But if you got views, you got DMs, you got people interested in what you do, and you're tired of leaving that money on the table, let's go ahead and talk. And one last thing, again, by the way, 94% of clicks on Google go to organic results. Organic traffic converts at 10 to 16% versus 2 to 7% for paid. You already have the hard part, the audience, the trust, the attention. The funnel just captures exactly what you've already built. Do not let a broken system waste what you've already earned. Again, I'll leave the link down below, and I hope to see you on that call, and we'll see if you're qualified in the DMs. You can go ahead and DM me down below. We'll see if you're qualified from there, and we'll book in a call, and we'll see how it goes from there. Of course, if you don't want to do any of that and you just want to watch another one of my videos, go ahead and check this one out right here because YouTube thinks that you'll like it. If you want to watch the whole funnel breakdowns playlist with upwards of $100,000 worth of sauce, funnel breakdowns playlist is right down below. See you again in this next video.